The Asian Avengers. So weak.
Asian Avengers. So weak. So fuckable, bro. You know? Whoa. There's 5 Asian guys together. Wow.
Together. Did you ever go through a stealing phase?
Do I think everyone should have a gun? Maybe.
Or you can look me up. I don't care. I'll fight you. I don't care.
You want to get high as fuck? You like opium?
And welcome back to another episode of AsianNotAsian Podcast, the podcast where 2 Asian guys not from Asia talk about American issues no American cares about. I'm your host, Fumi Abe.
And I'm Mike Nguyen.
And we are coming to you live from Brooklyn. This is September 5th. We got some quick announcements up top, actually, before I want to start. We have merch now. You can get Asian Not Asian t-shirts that has our logo. We also have like another cool tee that just says anal, which obviously stands for Asian Not Asian listener, not the other thing.
I was going to have a talk with you about that because I feel that's a missed opportunity. But continue. Yes, you can get that. Maybe might be limited edition, but go ahead.
Yes,
get the
please. Nobody else is doing this, so you got to get it. It also kind of looks like the APC design by accident. I don't know. I didn't copy their design.
Hey, you don't own
like
Helvetica, okay? You know, come on.
They don't know Helvetica. Fuck them. So please get merch. You can get that on Asian. You can get that at AsianNotAsianPod.com/merch. Again, if you're listening to this on your phones, please take a screenshot, put it on Instagram stories, tag us at AsianNotAsianPod on Instagram. We love you. I want to start this show this week by quickly catching up with Mike about a very big thing happening in Asian America, which is Mulan, baby. Mulan drop, baby. Mulan, baby.
12th century China. I think that's good.
When did it come out? The original one. When did it come out? How long has it been?
The original one, the cartoon Disney one. I feel that some people don't know that the original one came out. Okay, there was an original one in 1998. And that was a really big deal for me. I was already, I had 2 kids. I was already 44, and it was pretty cool. It was like a pretty cool moment, I guess. And it was a lot of fun. And so this is like the live action remake. It went through like, I don't know if people know, but like it went through like a million like kind of production hell like obstacles. Because they had to rewrite the script and they changed all these elements and they had to change some of the characters, some of the casting. I don't remember exactly. I don't think that any white people were originally cast, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if they snuck Marco Polo in there. Who the fuck knows at this point? But
I remember doing a race news on it like 2 years ago. On our couch back then.
It was people were like, "Oh, this is never coming out," and now it did come out, and you know it came out during the pandemic. So I paid the money. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to charge this to the company as research, which I did.
Yes.
And
no, you should.
I did that. I kind of wish that when I bought this, that the because like I have it attached to my iCloud, and so like to verify it's me, you know, they do your face, the Apple Face ID, and I was look at my face, I'm Asian, you know, they should have that. They have a face ID where it's like Asian.
minus $39.
Minus 39, you know, Asian discount $30, you know? So it's going to be us and occasionally like a white dude with a funny face, and we'll get it for free. So,
okay. Here's a couple of things. There's a couple of things I want to start off about with this Mulan discussion, which I want to get our guest on. But okay, first, there's clearly you know that fucking dad in the Mulan? What's his, I don't remember his character's name. Mulan's dad, who has like a bad leg, can't go to war. Okay, it's played by this guy. I don't even know his name. He's in every fucking movie like every Asian movie that's come out in the last 4 years. He's in Alan Yang's most recent movie. He plays the dad in that. He was in the Ali Wong movie, Always Be My Baby. He was also in like Arrival, maybe. Like he's just been in like every time there's an older Asian guy.
Yes,
it's him.
Or Arrival, I guess. Is the name of it.
And first of all, I was like, we need to give this guy a break because he must be so tired. He's been working nonstop. But I was thinking that like, you know how we always joke about how like there's not a lot of roles for like, you know, young Asian people right now. Clearly there's a shortage of supply with older Asian people. So Mike, I know your birthday is coming up. This is actually good news for you.
This is great news for me.
You're an older Asian man.
I could be. First of all, got to give him props. His name is Z-Ma, Tzii Ma, and he's awesome. He's in tons of shit. He was in The thing I always remember him for is he was in Rush Hour, and he's the dad in Rush Hour.
Who's that?
So good. And that was at a time when it was appropriate for him to play the dad of someone who's about 12 years old. You know, when he was on the screen, yes, there was definitely a problem because all the Asian representation which we see, which is good, we're seeing more people, but most Asian dudes who are on in the movies now have six packs. That's a problem, okay? Because there's going to be some characters who don't have six packs, okay?
Like Mulan's dad.
Yeah, Mulan's dad. He doesn't need to have a six pack, okay? Although, if you remember in the cartoon, he was kind of a babe. So let's just remember that.
That's true.
Donnie Yen has six pack. Jason Scott Lee is in it as the bad guy. Fire. He's so dope. He's dope. He played Bruce Lee once as well, and he was in the Jungle Book.
Well, I was watching it, and I was like, this guy, first of all, this is an older Asian man with a bad leg. I'm like, that is Michael Nguyen. I don't know why he did not get this role.
Look at this. Look at this knee.
You got a bad knee.
And I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. There's a huge gap.
Have you heard that story by Jimmy O Yang? He was on Joe Rogan, and his dad, Jimmy O Yang from Silicon Valley. His dad saw him on TV, and like a classic fucking immigrant dad, he was like, I could do this. Like, you ain't shit. And so Jimmy O Yang was like, oh yeah, then let me introduce you to some people, and he did. Yeah. And his dad landed like 4 roles. Like, he's an active actor now. He's in Space Force with Steve Carell. He was in Arrival. Like, he's in a bunch of shit. So like, there must, like, the demand is there, you know? Like, this is our time, baby.
This isn't our time. This is my time, okay? This is my time. Give me a minute and let me get up there, okay? You're too young. You still look like a teenager. So
just wait a second.
Give me a second. No, but you're absolutely right. I remember I watched. We talked about Chadwick Boseman last week, and then I watched Black Panther. And there's a scene. They go to Korea. They go to South Korea to like meet up with some arms dealers. And then there's a lady in front of the club. And we watched this twice. Me and my wife. We watched this scene twice because there's this older lady who's kind of like. It's like a front, so she's supposed to be kind of like
the mama-san, right?
She's like, she's kind of like a, she's just like she's supposed to be like a fishing woman, you know what I'm saying? And she's like protecting this front that you go into the club. And and she speaks in Korean, and then we listened to it twice. Pretty sure she's not Korean. We're pretty sure because her Korean is terrible. And we're like, oh my God, there's not enough Korean women at this age to play this role. And they had to get some other lady. Hey, not hating on you. Get your money,
right.
But yeah, dude. We should just get. Okay, everybody, talk to your parents right now, and talk to your parents about your dreams, so that they can take your dream, because they could be like, have you ever thought about taking an improv class, Mom? Yeah. Have you ever thought about it?
They'll fucking crush, dude.
They'll crush it, dude. And also, Asian moms are so funny. They're just gonna be so good at it.
So that was my thought through. That was my thoughts through Mulan, man. Yeah.
So did you like it? Did you like Mulan? People have been DMing me, asking me, is it worth the $30?
It's not. But
you don't like. Wow, you didn't even like it. You didn't even pay for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It was entertaining. I like Marvel shit. Like, I like people fighting and stuff
Swords,
like that.
fighting and shit.
I would have I thought that Falcon lady was gonna make out with Mulan. I thought there was gonna be like a little queer, like a nod to the queer community.
You know what?
You know what I'm talking about?
Thought that was the movie right there. That they have so they like add this kind of like witch lady. She's like powerful and she has like all this stuff, and it's kind of implied that her powers are similar to Mulan's powers, like this chi power, and it's just like, this witch lady is just Mulan, like 20 years in the future or something like that. And like, I thought like maybe they were gonna like get together, and then like overthrow China. And I was like, this is gonna be awesome. This is gonna like make a left turn, and it's completely like different. But yeah, it was okay. It was like, first of all, no singing. I miss singing. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. I miss Eddie Murphy. I wanted to have Eddie Murphy in there.
Yeah, where is he, man?
That's one thing. That's one thing I realized when I was watching. So I watched the Mulan, and then I watched the original one like right after. Like, I was like, man, I just got to hear someone talk about a song about being a man. I wanted to hear that. So
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
realized the original Mulan and most Disney movies are funny. They're like really funny.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because like they just have to break the tension of just like, you know, all this horrible stuff happening. So there's all these funny things happening, all these funny characters, not just like Eddie Murphy, but like all the other kind of side characters are funny. And this movie's not funny at all. Like there's like a couple of jokes in there, ha ha ha, but it's like not really.
Yeah,
so it's
but
like,
that's
it's such
the,
like, you know?
the jokes are like, haha, you're such a sissy. You know what I mean? Like it's not really funny.
It's not really funny. Like, and it could have been funny. So there's no singing.
Yeah.
There's no funny parts. There's like not a lot of romance, which is okay. I actually kind of thought that was fine. But yeah, I don't know. You know, I just really missed the old one. So anyways.
And now we've been canceled from Asian America because we publicly said we don't like Mulan, which is a great segue to bring up our guest, and we will see what he thinks about Mulan. Guys, our guest this week, we're so excited to have him. He's done Hack City. He's so freaking funny. You know, he has been on, he's done stand-up on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. He's a very successful comedian in New York City. Super funny, guys. Let's give it up for Jurden, everybody.
Hey.
Woo, Jay.
Hey.
Yay.
What's up? Thoughts on Mulan?
Thoughts on Mulan, baby.
You haven't seen the new one?
Haven't seen the live action Mulan. I've seen the animated Mulan approximately 100 times.
Really? You've seen it that many times?
To the point where I could be like there's certain songs that are so funny. Mike was right. Like The Girl Worth Fighting For, A Girl Worth Fighting For.
So
there's
good.
a song that the soldiers have when they're like, because the entire premise is like, why are you going to war? And it's like, for the honor of China. But then on the side, they're like, but also some pussy will be
that pussy, girl. Dude, I watched that, and there's that really big character. His name's Chien Po, and he talks about he doesn't care he doesn't care about how she looks, if she looks good, as long as she cooks good. Yo, relatable, right there, bro.
And the funniest part about that entire song, it's hilarious. It's so light. You have to see Mulan deal with these men's horniness in a number of different ways. This is after she's seen them all naked at the hot springs,
right?
And then so the song is getting to like this crescendo. We think there's going to be this hilarious ending to this song about how they want pussy, and then they just get to a war-torn, ravaged town.
a terrible town where a bunch of children were murdered, and I'm like,
they pick up a doll.
Yes.
They pick up a doll.
Right in the middle of like, oh, we're about to get her with some snow in the back of the head. Ha ha ha. No. Genocide. Right up to the song, genocide. And then it's what's so good about the original Mulan is because it's a war movie. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing, is that it's a war movie, but then they have like singing crickets and fucking panda bears and shit like that. And it was so funny.
Can we talk about the songs real quick? Because I feel that is, to your point, Mike, that is the true power of Disney movies, is
so good.
The songs are mad catchy. And yo, I was listening to Reflections, okay?
Reflections.
Bro.
Okay, I'm going to ask you guys something. Sometimes black people do this with Christina. Because she sang Reflections so well, does Christina get a temporary Asian pass? Not like a real one.
Yes.
But because
she did a fantastic job. I
think also that is why she did it. She came back because she needed to renew. It renews every 20 years. So it's like, oh shit, I need to renew. I need to drop a new version.
Because someone pointed out, they were like, Lea Salonga, who is already a Disney princess voice and is Asian, could have sang it. And someone was
That's
like,
a good point.
We got this white woman to sing it. They're like, well, chill out on Christina. Now hold on.
Dude, that song though, like lyrically, dude, that is the Asian American, and to an extent, like the POC experience, dude. Like
POC, queer people, any marginalized group.
The part where she's like, who is this girl staring straight back at me, dude? I don't know this bitch. That's me. That's me, man.
That's what was so good about the original Mulan, was that it was very like Asian American, you know, even though it was like very specific to like Chinese, which is good. I think they did a good part, but good thing about it, didn't try to like mix a whole bunch of shit. There wasn't any scenes where like Mulan was eating sushi or anything like that, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't throw that shit in there. It's like, whatever, just fine, just throw it all in. They did a pretty good job of like, they have like, you know, like there's a lot of like very Chinese references in there, which I think is good because, you know, they're trying to be true. But like when I was a kid, I was watching, it was like, it was very Asian American. because Mulan is very like Asian American. She's like she wants to do right. Her dad wants her to get married, go to optometry school, bring honor to the family. And she doesn't want to do that. She wants to go, she wants to be herself, she wants to read books, she wants to be an influencer. And that's her thing. But she's like,
yeah, that's what they call chi in the 1200s was the influencer.
Exactly.
So Mulan, it's just Mulan being like, so this is my unboxing video today.
I got a sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Like, do you like my haircut? Do you guys like my haircut?
Like my haircut?
So
yeah.
Remember to like and subscribe.
That's what it was. That was what it was. And, I think that was like the big thing about the original one. So, yeah, man, this is cool, man. I don't know. You should check it out. Just see how it is. And then immediately watch.
Disney Plus. I got Disney Plus, and you got to pay the extra. It's the second paywall.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Is it?
It's like you gotta buy it, and it's like $30. Right.
That's fucking bullshit. Is that what Hamilton's on as well? There's like a second paywall?
No,
Hamilton's straight up
hanging
on.
out.
Hamilton's just chilling.
They think Mulan is better than Hamilton? Okay. That's what
I know.
You could just raw dog Hamilton.
Well, Jay, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. We want our listeners to get to know you a little bit. So I've been doing some research on you. I've actually been listening to your comedy album, Hey Y'all, which is your comedy special.
Jay Jurden, y'all.
It's amazing. I was listening today. It's so fucking tight, and it's so crazy to think like, when I was younger, like I would listen to comedy albums, and I was like, these are famous people, and now it's like these are my friends. Like we've gotten to this point, and I think that's so fucking cool. But we talked a little bit about this before with you, like I think in person. But like you're from Mississippi, right? You're from Mississippi.
I'm from Mississippi, which kind of makes me an immigrant in New York, just because people ask questions about Mississippi here in sometimes the most curious, innocent, but like disrespectful way.
Okay, okay. Like what?
Ooh, yeah, like what?
Because people, they're like, oh, well, like, how did you even like escape? And I'm like, escape? What are you talking about?
Yeah, man. What was it like? What was it like on the Underground Railroad, bro? Dude, like, it's
I'm
crazy.
like, you mean the 3 train? So I took that uptown. I think that people have, in part, is because of like the polarization of our society post 2016, that people literally now they just think the South is all statues to like the president right now.
Yeah.
And so I grew up in a very black community and a very southern community, and those two things aren't always at odds. Mississippi has 33% black people. It has the most black people per state. It has the highest percentage of black people per state in the country. The only places that have more black people in the U.S. than Mississippi are Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, and I think the U.S. Virgin Islands, which is so shout out to Tim Duncan. But like Mississippi has 33% black people. So when people are like, oh, is Mississippi racist? I'm like, some of them might be. Not black people in Mississippi. When you talking about Morgan Freeman? No, we're not racist.
That's interesting because I had this week off from work, and I was telling Mike last week that I wanted to just travel somewhere domestically just on my own, and I had brought up Mississippi because I've never been there before, and I just have this fascination with the South because I've just never been there. And everybody I brought this up to was like, "Oh, bro, you're gonna die. You're gonna die over there, right?"
Can I tell you something insane? If you look it up, there's a really cool, I think Now This, or maybe it's Eater. There's an entire history of Chinese Americans in the Mississippi Delta because so non-white people that were also non-black people in the South lived in like this weird limbo all the way up until the 1980s, really, because their status was never that of the white people.
Right.
But then they also wanted, not necessarily be insular, but they wanted to also kind of maintain some of their cultural heritage and identity. So like there's this really cool video about about Asian people in Mississippi, particularly Chinese American immigrants and their children. And what happens is that it's this cool, like really southern mix of cultures. It's so crazy to even
I remember seeing some of this because like I remember seeing like a video clip of like this old Chinese lady with like a crazy southern accent, And
That's
you're just
the
like,
video
what
I'm talking
the
about.
hell is this? This is like the craziest like deep fake I've ever seen. But like, that's cool as fuck. I mean, so
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like,
Chinese people invented fried chicken. I always tell people that when I'm like, it's a black stereotype, but Chinese people invented it.
Oh
yo,
yeah, that is.
We just made
that-
it bite-sized and called it General So. I mean, that's like the main difference. Jay, so growing up, what was it like in growing up in Mississippi, and then like at a certain point, you also went to grad school. Like according to my notes here, you have a master's degree.
Yeah. So and like in in acting, don't make it seem like I'm actually like working hard. Like it's not like so I went to performing arts school from the age of 12 to 18. There's one in like the capital city of Mississippi, and so I was doing that for theater and for like academic stuff too.
Right.
And so then I went to college and I went to the state school. I stayed in state. I was like still like super local. It was so long before I ever traveled like around the country. And so I went to Ole Miss and I got like an English degree. And then I also like at one point I was like, oh, maybe I should act some more. And so then I decided to get like a BFA in theater, which like took an extra 2 years. But then I also was like really cool with that because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yep.
And then like I got a grad school offer where they paid me and I got to like teach. And so
that's
I
cool.
took that. And so that whole time I'm like performing, and about halfway through I realized I was like, oh, I just like comedic stuff. Like whenever I got notes for scene work, they'd be like, Jay, less funny. And I'd be like, what is this? Funeral?
Stop
and
trying
they'd be like,
to...
yeah, it is a funeral.
It is a funeral,
Maybe,
yeah.
chill out.
Less on the jokes.
I want to take it back for a second. So I know you have like a theater background and all that. Again, you had mentioned this earlier about how people think Mississippi is like a total different country. Like that's crazy to me that they even had a theater program at Ole Miss.
I know.
Ole Miss, to me, I think of football and like blonde hair white guys like being mean. That's like.
Well, I mean, Fumi, you're not wrong. So you're not. They can encompass all things. They're like the culture at Ole Miss is so weird. So any big Southern school like Ole Miss, I went Ole Miss, then I went to Alabama because I was like, I want to know what it's like to win. So I went to both of them, and like from a frat standpoint, like the Greek life scene is a lot like that. It's a bunch of blonde and brunette because representation matters.
Right. Diversity. Yep.
Yeah, and so they're like doing their whole thing, but then there's this kind of like secret underground because they're both still liberal arts schools, so they have like a lot of they're both still liberal arts schools with like a lot of money allocated to English departments and creative writing departments because so many big Southern authors came out of those two schools, particularly William Faulkner, and then whoever the person who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird is from Alabama,
Harper Lee,
and so Harper Lee. HarperCollins is the publishing house.
company.
Yes.
So it's weird because there's an artistic tradition there, but then there's also kind of this like football tradition and this Greek life tradition, and they all work. Sometimes they work concurrently, and sometimes they'll push back against each other. So you get really good at, I guess, like compartmentalizing it, because like you'll be like, oh, I gotta go rehearse this scene, and then we're gonna beat the shit out of Auburn. Like it's very.
So you were kind of, I mean, like is it pretty typical to like kind of have a foot in both worlds, or is it easy to kind of like, I only do this one thing, or
In grad school, you can focus kind of just on being like a good grad student the way they want you to. But when you're an undergrad, you kind of want to be social.
Yeah,
I think the only way you can actually be a good actor is to have life experience. Like, how are you going to know what it's like to be blackout if you've never
been blackout? Yeah. How do you know what it's like unless someone has clubbed you in the back of the head with a bottle of Bud Light? You got to know what it's like. It's just part of the
Bud
process.
Light. What we're drinking Keystone Light.
Yeah, you're right.
What method acting?
In college,
you're right.
you'd have those fucking like you'd go to a Walmart in a college town,
Yeah.
and they'd have a mountain,
Huge.
like a built-up mountain of
Yeah.
Keystone Light, and they'd
Yeah.
be like, "How much is that?" They'd be like, "Oh, that entire pyramid, you can get that for like, you give me $50, I'll give you all them beers." You're like,
yeah. It starts at a 72 pack and it goes up from there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
other.
Anyone who's listening, you probably thinking, "Oh, comedians are engaging in hyperbole. Mike's being silly." He's not joking. He's not joking. You don't know what it's like. Have you ever smelled 72 beers? That's the thing. You're in a basement full of men.
Little men. What I would love to is
Girls were on the way, allegedly.
Yeah,
But I'm just
allegedly.
saying.
No, yeah. They'll show up eventually, but really we're here for the 72 pack. But what I would love is also like you get hit in the back of the head, you fall down, you pass out, you stand up and you go, and scene. You know, like that's what I'm thinking. And scene. You know? That's beautiful. Everybody's like,
Yeah.
But I mean,
Flip
like,
cup.
you kind of like realize you can like talk about this, but still then also like have acting that you're passionate about. So it was good. I think my acting definitely helped my stand up because from a stage presence and just kind of awareness standpoint, that was like a step that I didn't have to like really focus on. The big thing for me, I wanted to always be a really good joke writer. So when growing up, I loved who I'm trying to think of the people that like really made me go, oh my god, because like everyone says Dave Chappelle, but then they go, oh, because it's a Chappelle show, and I'm like, no, because killing them softly was the first time I was I know this special front to back, like I think I know all of this. Elephant in the Room, but then even like older like Mitch Hedberg stuff, and like weird stuff. Like I also like Stephen Lynch because I would like write silly songs, and that's like a lot of wordplay. I remember watching Last Comic Standing and being like blown away and like
by that fan.
No, not by that fan. Not by that fan.
What? Why you gotta hate on that fan?
That's like a.
What the hell?
Hey man, that guy.
We will get to Uncle Roger in a bit.
that fan, man. You know, hey, you want to talk about who could play Mulan's dad? That fan. Okay,
that
there you
fan,
go.
he could've-
Put that dude in there.
Yo, can you imagine?
Mike,
Can you imagine?
Because Mike, you know what? You should do that because then white people will have to realize Vietnam and China are different. They'll be like, I don't know.
Oh, wait a second.
He sounded like he was wrong
Wait,
for this role.
I don't know about
Mike,
this. What was his accent?
I'm not gonna do this because I respect the Vietnamese culture, but could you please just do a quick scene as you being dad fan playing Mulan's dad, reenact the scene when she runs away. Okay, she's gone. He discovered that. Yep.
I can't do it. Tai sao? My hand. I can't. Okay, that's about it.
What's the thing? What's the thing he always says?
I'm offended.
What's the thing he always says? He's always like, "What the hell?" or whatever.
What is the thing he always says?
That's his catchphrase.
Oh, what the hell?
That was it.
We do say it a lot. I mean, you know, like that's kind of why I like him. Anyways, we'll get there. We'll get to there.
We'll get there in a second.
But yeah.
There was the episode of Tough Crowd where Patrice.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Patrice was like, do you have to do your mom every 5 seconds, or do you get like not paid? It was like, so I used to love Tough Crowd too because it made me feel like I knew Colin Quinn. And like it was such a, and so then I'm trying to think of who else like really like, this is like, I'm talking about formative. Before like was watching it and be like, oh, how do you do it? Just when like you watch, you're like, I like this and I don't know why. Chris Rock was a big influence on me. Early Cat Williams, when it was almost just like character work and you didn't know that he was like secretly like putting jokes in there. That kind of stuff like really fascinated me. Wanda Sykes, I'm Gonna Be Me was like a huge thing. I watched that so much in college before I even like, I was like, oh, she's so good. So like, but even then I was like, I'm queer, but like I just like watching this.
So this is interesting because like I'm hearing, okay, I feel that this is partly why we get along because there's a lot of, yes, I'm a person of color and I'm supposed to believe XYZ because it's 2020. But like, you had mentioned like, oh, you're a big fan of Patrice. You watch Tough Crowd. Those comedians, if Patrice was alive today, I feel that like, you can't really predict what he would be today. But like, some people find him to be problematic, or they're just like, you like Bill Burr, you like Patrice, but like
very problematic. By today's standards. But just because of the misogyny stuff. So like it's always like a weird like caveat. Like I'm even allowed to say, I can love the first 2 Dave Chappelle specials so much, but then I can also say I don't think he needs to attempt to tackle the trans stuff. It's like when you have that much power, if you have material that you want to do, people will let you get away with like stuff that just isn't landing ever as well as you want it to because of your power. Yeah. Because I saw him and Chris Rock together, and Chris Rock was working on Tambourine. And the Tambourine section of the show was tighter than Dave's show that eventually became one of the specials on Netflix. Yeah. To the point where I was like, that new Chris Rock stuff about his divorce. I was like, that's gonna be fucking good. Yeah. I saw them at Radio City Music Hall. So like, you're also allowed to like, okay, what are we supposed to do? We just supposed to be like everything people do is great? Like I can't say. No, I can't be like, oh man, LeBron should have got back on defense. I can't say that.
One of our producers wrote this in the notes, and I'm not sure where he found this, but he said that Jay said in an interview that a class on queerness in Shakespearean literature helped him discover his queerness. Is this true?
A little bit, yeah. So there was this one professor, I think Ivo Camps, and he
shout out
to Ivo Camps. I think he was like English department head for a little bit. So in Shakespearean times, like the early modern period, I took a lot of Shakespearean classes. I took a lot of classes kind of studying Shakespeare stuff. So you couldn't be gay. Not in the sense that like you weren't allowed. It was just like it didn't exist. Like no one was like, I'm gay. They'd be like, get back to work.
Stop fucking around.
Wait, don't you have the plague? Yeah, come on now. We all got pustules. Yeah.
So like if you had sex with a guy, your actions weren't your identity. Concurrently, any sort of like interactions between people who weren't like attempting to have kids to like further a lineage, it just wasn't even thought about. So they couldn't wrap their brains around it. They were like, okay, you and that guy are hooking up, but you still gonna have kids with this woman, right? So we can like continue this family,
the House of Lancaster or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah.
So like I always say that like any sort of like heteronormative thoughts we have are rooted usually in like passing stuff down to people.
Legal
and
shit.
From a Western standpoint,
for sure.
From a Western ideology standpoint, those are all kind of like thrust upon us from the fact that we grew up in a country where Eurocentric ideas were valued. So whenever like that kind of stuff started to be talked about, I was like, oh. And then you find out Shakespeare was like rumored to be bi. I was like, man, I could get into this. This is pretty.
Yeah.
And then there are all these like little like I want to say Antonio and Sebastian and Twelfth Night, or like it's like about attraction to someone else. Even like Viola and Olivia in 12th Night, it's like a girl dressing up as a boy. You guys seen She's the Man with Amanda Bynes?
I don't think I have.
No.
Okay, it's like that. It's so like playing with gender, and then what gender does to attraction when gender is actually like not real. And then the crazier part about all this is during that time, all these women roles were played by younger men on stage.
Yes.
So that kind of helped me discover my queerness. Also, whenever like high school boys aren't hot enough to help you figure out you're queer. That's when I said
interesting.
When I said a Shakespearean course, I could also have been talking about my classmates. Like in high school, you're like, ain't nobody here hot enough to make me do gay shit. That's you get to college, you're like, now wait a minute.
Hold on here. We're in Bama right now, and things are different.
I didn't know people were gonna have pecs like this.
Jay, you mentioned something on a podcast I was listening to with you as a guest, and I never thought about this until you made it up. But like so you mentioned it. I was really into like punk rock, emo, alt rock shit, and you had mentioned that like a lot of these bands like My Chemical Romance, like in the music videos, they would have like boys kissing and stuff, right? And
Yes.
I don't know why I didn't even I like rewatched some of it, and I was like, oh yeah, like I wonder why I didn't even, and if you think about it, like the bases from Fall Out Boy, they all kind of look, they kind of go for that BTS like androgynous look a little bit, like I don't know if they were intentionally going for like the queer nod, but there were elements of it certainly.
I think a lot of the pop punk boys, because people were like, oh, that music's kind of gay, they were like, we're not, but if you're gonna say we are.
I think too, like, to bring it back to Mulan is there's a lot of queer like kind of, I don't know, energy that's happens in it. There's like scenes where all the boys have to sleep together, like in the live action one, they all have to sleep in the same tent, and like they're all like, they all like, like are very close to each other, and they have to like hug each other and shit like that. And then of course there's that scene in like where they have to take a bath, right? They all, in the cartoon it's kind of funny, but in the live action there's kind of like this thing going on, because we know that she's a girl, but he doesn't know, and then like, what I'm saying, that there's a lot of like subtext to what's happening, especially because it's like about being a man and blah 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 and love, and I'll do everything for protect my my homies, and that's what I mean. There's like the army is very very queer in that way. You know what I'm saying? So like there's a lot of that going on.
There's even how the original Mulan. How I knew the original Mulan was gay, and I found this out 2 years ago. Yeah, because Mike Pence was like, I don't like it.
Oh shit. He was like, mother, no, please turn that Chinese movie off.
In like 98, Mike Pence, he wrote like an op-ed, and he said that Disney was attempting to like undermine like gender role. He wrote this in 98.
Oh yeah,
so he's been like weird from the jump. He was like, I don't like it because it's going to encourage women to try to get in the military. There was like a bunch of like misogynistic, transphobic, and like homophobic points that he was attempting to make, and everyone's like, can't you just enjoy Eddie Murphy, dog?
I don't like this, dude. I think it's going to get crickets to start singing, and there's going to be dragons all over the place voiced by black comedic actors.
Like, yeah, you guys hear that? You hear what I'm saying? You got to open up your mind. Dragons, drag queens,
drag on stage. Hello, huh? Illuminati. Yeah.
There's this one scene in the live action one where like it was confirmed to me that Mulan was at least queer, or if not gay, because there's a scene where like she sees the boys' junks, and I swear to God, in the cartoon it's like ew, but in this one she's like what? Like she's disgusted. I'm like, my girl's queer. It's fine.
For me, but
hold on here. Okay, yeah, so go ahead. Yeah.
I have a question though, and this is for you two straight boys. There is like, so if like a straight guy sees a bunch of vaginas, like it's still just kind of, vaginas are passive. This is what I'll say. Like vaginas are passive.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
the sense that like they're not activated fully all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a vagina can just be like chilling.
Yeah,
just on a couch. Yeah.
Like after I want to say like after 5 penises, even like as someone who's bi and like who like has a boyfriend and regularly sleeps with dudes, like after 5 penises, even I'm like, this is a lot of dicks. Nah,
you're right. I think it's right. Active versus dormant. I that's a great analysis.
That's why Mulan like can be disgusted, because like 1 dick it's like, oh, that's mine. Like 2 dicks it's like, okay, I didn't know, what are we in Vegas? After 3 dicks you like,
I also I like how you say a bunch of vaginas, like they're all together in maybe some sort of basket or something like that. It's like, look at this. Look at this fresh bunch of vaginas I found, Yeah, they were having a special at Safeway.
It's in a basket,
Oh, is this mine? Is this for me?
I'll even say this. If you put a bunch of vaginas together and you, depending on how close the camera is, you don't even know those are vaginas. You'll be like, are these tulips?
What is going on here? Is this prosciutto? What's going on here?
if you put a bunch of penises together, you like from jump, you're like, that's wait a oh man,
why? Yeah, hey, that's way too many. That's just too lumpy. I don't like that.
And I mean, I also think that like there's a really cool message in Mulan in the sense it's not that like I don't think the message is like explicitly gay. I just think it's like you guys have been using the word very correctly and applying it appropriately. It's queer. Yeah. There's something other than the norm, and you're allowed to also exist in that. Why not? It was like up until the 1960s. If a woman put on a pantsuit, they were like, what
is happening? Oh my God, I'm Mike Pence and I'm offended.
What you doing wearing pants today on the Lord's Day?
Oh my God, that's funny.
Even now, like you are like isn't. I mean, I think when you talked about BTS, I think like celebration of like kind of playing with gender a bit more. And 10 years ago, it was men. It was Cameron wearing pink. Like, I don't think he gets enough credit for people. You remember when like everyone was wearing pink because of Killer Cam?
Yeah, dude.
And so now it's people understanding that K-pop boys can be pretty. Now it's people going, oh, I don't really know what that person's gender is, but they're really fun and beautiful. So like, I think that's a cool message. I don't know if I'm gonna pay $30 for it, but it's cool.
It's a good message.
There's something happening with like cartoons / anime, like children entertainment and injecting topics of queerness. Because I don't know if I'm reading into this too much, but like I was watching. Do you guys watch Avatar? Korra?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Korra's. Oh, that's
Korra.
It's
right.
It's
at the end, her and Asami, bro.
Oh, that's
right?
100%. Well, no, it starts at the beginning of that season. Whenever Korra says, whenever she gets the letters, she gets a letter from Mako. She gets a letter from Asami and a letter from and like a big letter from Bolin.
Yeah.
And she only chooses to write Asami back. And they put that at the beginning of the season to like to everyone know that Korra cares about her more than the two boys.
Also, look into this. What is it? Is an avatar just a metaphor for somebody being bi or queer? Ruler of all the elements? Dicks and vaginas? Bro?
I mean,
you know? You know? I'm just saying. You know?
Damn, dude. I feel a Mike Pence op-ed coming on, man. He's going to be talking about this. Have you seen this Avatar?
Korra... so Korra was also like Nickelodeon shared like a pride image, which is like I'm surprised Viacom CBS let them do it, but I guess like they have a bit more flexibility now because it's 2020, and they put 3 people in the Nickelodeon pride image, and the 3 people, there was one person who I didn't know, but the other 2 people were Korra and SpongeBob, and that's because the creators were allowed to say Korra is bi and SpongeBob. This is crazy.
Yes.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
SpongeBob is technically asexual but homo-romantic with Patrick. So, and it's scientific. Sponges only produce asexually. They produce by budding off pollen.
Yo, that's science.
So SpongeBob is never going to be interested in like sex.
Right.
But his most romantic and most important relationship is with Patrick.
That's true.
Oh my God. This is insane.
Was that like an official thing? Is that like a...
Yeah, that's like an official thing from the creators.
He said that on his deathbed, or has this been known for a while?
Has it said on his deathbed?
So it came back out whenever that image for Nickelodeon Pride came out.
Right. Oh. But I remember reading about this a long time ago, like SpongeBob is gay. Yeah.
Well, everyone was like, why is SpongeBob? They were like, we get Korra because we saw her going to the spirit world with Usami. Like, everyone like was agreeing with Fumi.
Yeah.
And they're like, why is SpongeBob on this? And then people were like, oh, it's because of this. And I was like, wow.
Whoa. I'm surprised that people weren't going to be like, oh my God, this is going to teach kids that they can just reproduce asexually and they can live in the ocean and wear a tie the whole time. It's going to be crazy.
SpongeBob is working a minimum wage job just like every millennial. So, I mean, he gets it.
He gets it.
I am real excited about this next product because it is perfect for anal. I'm talking about Asian, not Asian listeners, but also I'm talking about the actual butthole.
Yes.
Okay. It's hard to believe that when we go to the bathroom in this country, most of us wipe instead of wash.
Gross. For years, bidets have been available, but hideously expensive, costing thousands of dollars. Really? That's crazy.
What? That's so crazy. The Hello Tushy modern bidet attachment is here to democratize the blessings bestowed by bidets and offer clean buttholes to everyone.
Hello Tushy cleans your butt with a precise stream of fresh water. It sounds like an Evian ad for just $79.
Wow, it attaches to your existing toilet, requires no electricity or additional plumbing, and cuts toilet paper use by 80%.
Wow.
So the Hello Tushy bidet pays for itself in a few months.
Because with Hello Tushy, you don't wipe at all. Even the best 2-ply just can't cut it when it comes to the hands-free poop experience.
Yo, ditch paper products and uncomfortable chafing when you switch to the soothing, cleansing stream of water from a Hello Tushy bidet attachment.
And every Hello Tushy bidet attachment comes with a 60-day risk-free, risk-free, what kind of risk are we talking about? Risk-free guarantee and a 12-month warranty.
Join millions of happy Hello Tushy customers right now and have a clean butt with every flush.
Go to hellotushy.com/ANA to get 10% off.
This is a special offer for our listeners. Go to hellotushy.com/ANA for 10% off.
hellotushy.com/ANA.
And we're back with our guest, Jay Jurden. This is everyone's favorite segment. It is Das Race News. And this one is a little different. Race News, this doesn't come from a news source per se. I guess it's kind of from a news source. It's from Reddit, which is where all the truth lies. So this one is from, I read about this on Our Asian American. So shouts to them. And they have, somebody posted on there like a little topic, and it said, why do Asian Americans, that's us, always do fake accents? I just did it earlier and therefore offended my family, but it's true, we do it. And I think they were referring to a couple of different things. There's a comedian who's like blown up recently. I'm gonna say it, he's our friend. He's coming on the show next week, and his name's Nigel Ng, and he's got a new character. And I think they were referring to his character, Uncle Roger. But I think in general also there's like other things that they sort of talk about. I think also Ken Jeong, of course, they kind of bring him up as well. And this topic comes up a lot, especially for Asian Americans or like West Asian people. We talk about the accent thing, and like, is it funny? Is it not funny? Why do we always do it? Like, it's a big thing. It's a big thing.
Yeah,
and a lot of people had different topics on there, and it was nuanced, but yeah.
This is just a very quick synopsis of what this guy writes. He wrote a whole paragraph. I'm just gonna read like 2 sentences. He says, "I'm not gonna lie, accents are it is funny sometimes, but it also sends a poor message to non-Asians. You are sending a message to them that it's okay to laugh at someone who speaks with an accent, and that being from another country and speaking differently is funny." And so it's weird. Asian Americans get very sensitive with comedy, and especially when you do an accent. Other non-Asian people might think it's funny. You as the comedian might think it's funny, but anytime you do an accent, know that like 60% of the room, if they're Asian, they're like with hating ass eyes. They're looking at you with hating ass eyes.
I'm gonna go out and say I actually don't think. I think people are very nervous about it, but I think that it's more people like it than you think. But it's also because, and I'm gonna go on the side of the audience, but like most of the time people do it and it's not good. And I mean, it's
well, are you talking about Asian people doing it or non-Asian people doing it?
Both times.
I'm gonna push back right now and say, if you're a non-Asian person, I'll even go further. If you're a non-South Asian person doing a South Asian dialect for a person who has a stereotypically South Asian job, you're evil, and it's 2020. Stop. What are you doing? If you're a non-East Asian person, that's regardless of if you're black or Latinx or white. I think some white people still do comedy in 2020. If you are doing an East Asian dialect, woo,
yeah,
you're crazy. First of all, congrats on SNL. But secondly, I shouldn't have said that joke. Sorry, Shane. But like, don't do it. I'm gonna tell you right now. And so as a black person, the closest thing that we have to this as far as like approximating it, is I have some friends who are Nigerian or the children of Nigerian parents.
Right.
And sometimes they will do their parents because there's some immigrant kind of Venn diagrams that cross over. Immigrant parents being disappointed in their Americanized children is a theme that runs through on so many different levels for so many people from so many different places in the world. Mm-hmm. Like when they do that accent, it's usually to contrast their opinion with their parents. So if it's done for the sake of comedy, I'm always in favor of like you using that person to set yourself up for a better joke. Yeah. From a execution standpoint, I'll say you as a comedian, if you want your career to go a long way, you need to be the funniest part of your set. Because the more that you give your parents or your relatives or your aunties, because it can happen. If I would Southern Mama kind of did it for Southern people in a weird way. The more that you give that person all of your punchlines, the more the audience loves that person. And if you start to become the setup person for your punchlines and you don't get to deliver them, then you're like the part of the popsicle that's sticking out already. And they're like, I just want to get to the good part.
They're
like,
my mind right now.
They're just like, do the voice. So,
this is why.
So it doesn't help you.
Yes.
Is what it doesn't.
That's a great.
But I'm not going to get mad at you.
Yes, that's a great point. I'm so glad that you have a master's degree to help us with this, because we would not have been able to articulate that nearly as well. But I think you're right, and we'll talk about it more with Nigel. But I do think that like, the character can sometimes become bigger than you. And then, and then people will like want to see the character rather than, and then stand up is always, it's supposed to be about yourself. It's supposed to be as pure of yourself as you can bring to the stage. And so, to bring it back to this, I don't think that accents are always going to be bad, but I think that like audiences, Asian American audiences have been like primed to always see it as like, oh, as soon as somebody starts doing the accent, they're about to make fun of me. Like this is about to happen every time. Like it's going to happen rather than like
right. They're about to make fun of the Asian audience instead of I see it now, because whenever a comedian does a Jamaican accent or they do an Indian, like Usama does a lot of Indian accents. He's just kind of like making fun of his family, right?
He's talking about his mom, right?
He's not making fun of the Indian American people in the crowd. He's just making fun of his like crazy mom. And that's the way accents should be used. It should be like isolated to your own world, because to Jay's point, it's about your world. But you're right, with Asian accents, it's been sort of abused, and it's just a guy making fun of like just Asian people out on the streets or whatever. I mean,
it's even fucking Angelica Johnson who.
Oh right.
Like that was. I mean, that was something that I guess she needed to talk about, because she's Latinx. She might even be mixed with a few things, but her primary identifier is like a woman who is Latina, because she was just on the HBO thing. So like for her to have the nail tech voice for so long. Oh yeah, and people look at her and not know what she is. Then more people thought it was okay, and so then casually people say that shit to Asian people because they think, oh, this is common ground as far as comedy, and they're like, I don't think that shit's funny.
That's happened to me. Yeah, they go, what was her line? Why you know her boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
But you know what's with the Vietnamese accent. Yeah.
I get that you're supporting small business owners, but don't do that to me.
You know what's funny is when I first saw that, I was she does a great accent, I have to admit. And when it happened, when I saw
Mike's
it,
first
I was
point.
like, I was like,
good
have you ever seen someone do racism so good for a second you stop and go, that's some good racism? You know what I'm saying? It's like if somebody were to wear a white hood in your house, but the white hood is like made of a really nice like silk material or something, and you're like, that's a nice silk hood. And then you're like, wait a second, get the fuck out of here. That was what was crazy. I was like, oh, damn, that's a good. She's been working on that one. But then
she's been working on that racism.
I like that Mike's first reaction was, who told? Wait a second, who's been?
Wait a minute.
Someone's giving her tips.
I gotta text my aunts. You know what I'm saying? Just like who
But also the Uncle Roger video is a character video about rice. So like,
Yeah.
here's my takeaway from that. Because it's a character video
Yes.
and it's not him on stage doing like 40 minutes of his 60 minutes as Uncle Roger.
Yes.
Uncle Roger can have a character video specifically about someone fucking up rice. Like that makes enough sense that no one's
Yes.
gonna be like, I can't, you know what I mean?
So
It'd
that's
be like
why.
if a
Yeah. No, that's
if
why
a Southern
I feel.
person had a video where they were extra Southern and they were like, you're doing what with cornbread? Like, you'd be allowed.
Yeah. I mean, I think most people accepted it because it's got like 6 million views. You know,
It's got so many views. I feel
He's like,
the-
I think
yeah.
he's doing all right.
I think the reason why I like Uncle Roger, that character, is because it's a character. It's like he calls himself Uncle Roger. He has actually Nigel had made a few other videos before he got onto the cooking thing about like how he has like a cell phone and he has like
And
he's
like
wearing
Uncle
this,
Roger dating, right?
yeah, he's got all these things, and so there's a fleshed out character, and in some ways, it's somewhat specific to kind of like a Malaysian Chinese feel that he's kind of talking about, but like as an Asian person, Vietnamese dude, I kind of know when Uncle Roger, my uncles are kind of like that, and so that character has an accent, which is like it makes sense, like and it has, and he's kind of like trying to get into this like really specific kind of accent that it's not like a generalized Asian accent. It's kind of like a very specific to a certain area, and that's why I think it's okay, because it's a character and it makes sense that the character has an accent. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that kind of carries it through. It would make less sense if like this guy, hey, I'm Uncle Roger, I'm from Hong Kong and I have a Southern accent. That wouldn't make any sense. Like, so this kind of works with that. So to your point, Jay, I think it's like, and it, it's very specific to this thing, and it's like it's to criticize this one particular aspect. That's where I feel it works, But yeah.
It's also like, I hate to say it, and this sucks.
Say it.
Sometimes this is the
Please do it.
barometer, but it's also funny enough and innocent enough that it can get away with it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's fucking
There's
rice.
not like, it's funny and innocent. Sometimes they're funny, but sometimes things can be funny but evil, and you're like, I'm conflicted. It's funny and it's innocent.
I'm conflicted. Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
everyone has seen like a video where someone is being like a terrible person, and you're like, man, this is so, I'm not gonna share it, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch
not
it.
gonna
I'm
share
watch
it, not gonna
twice,
share it.
and then after that, I'm gonna keep going. Yeah.
I might even I might send it to someone privately. I'm not gonna post it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
gonna go on
it was
Signal and do it.
innocent. It was funny. It was about rice. Also, the woman was fucking up.
Fucking up.
Even black people. Okay, because like rice as a global connector among non-white communities. I don't know. Like, you're going to get mad. White people that listen to this podcast, thank you for being allies, but you're going to get upset. So rice is super important to African people, to Indian people, to East Asian people, to people in the Middle East. So white people, y'all just never loved it. Y'all like barley. Y'all like there are other grains that are more important to you. Irish soda bread. I don't know. So when a black person has an opinion about, when an African person has an opinion about jollof rice, particularly a Nigerian person or a person from Ghana or a person from Sierra Leone, they can have a character who is rooted and steeped in the culture, like say things in the voice of the culture about that food, because food is so important to us. Food is some of the only ways that they can remain connected to things. So if Uncle Roger as the character sees you fucking up one of the few things that was like a familial moment, like washing the rice and like having a rice cooker, like he's allowed to be funny and silly about it. Just from like a socio-cultural standpoint.
And you kind of think of it like this, like only an Asian person could write a character like him. This specific thing. He's got the clip and the way he wears his his polo and like he has this thing where he has his leg up all the time.
Yeah.
That's right on target. No white writer on SNL could be like, and he's got his leg up all the time. No, that wouldn't even make sense. But like Asian people, we're gonna be like, okay, the accent's there, but then also the leg up is there. And
can we get the leg in there?
The leg up. That's what's up.
It's like the Black Uncle's Bluetooth in the early 2000s.
Yeah. We have that too.
Non-white. Okay, so every non-white uncle, and by uncle I'm using uncle in parentheses because it could just be a family friend. If you don't know, you know, but if you knew already, you knew. They love Bluetooths. They love fashion about 5 years too late. It's like right after everyone stopped wearing it. It's like or they'll get you a gift. They'll be like, I hear people buying the kids hoverboards. You're like, not now.
Hey, you heard about these fidget spinners? You guys like that? You guys like bootcut jeans? You know? Yeah.
They'll ask you about a celebrity that is hot, but that would never talk to them, and they'll tell you what they would do if they could get a chance with that.
Get a chance, yes. Yes.
My God, the Bluetooth. You totally got it.
Yeah, man. We gotta let Uncle Roger be Uncle Roger.
We're gonna let Uncle Roger.
It's like, go ahead.
We're gonna get into it more. We're gonna have Nigel on next week, and we're gonna talk about it. But
I think that's so smart and so good that you guys aren't like fake. What's the best way of me to say it? Like some people, their wokeness is performative and virtue signaling. So like, if both of you guys are like, I don't approve of this.
Well, I'm always on the side of funny. So if I went, haha, then I'm gonna try to, I'm gonna try to defend it because I thought it was funny and I trust my sense of humor. Does that make sense? Right? So like, if my initial reaction was like, because this is a little, because you're right, it's based on like a real person, and if he didn't have an accent, it kind of doesn't make sense because it's assumed that this guy's an immigrant, and to Jay's point, like rice is one of the food is one of the few cultural touch points he has in the country that he lives in now, right? So it's like rice is all Uncle Roger has, baby. That's
and
his
he
thing.
Sees someone
he's divorced
on TV. Fucking it up. That's the crazy part. He's like, wait
a sec. He got to put his leg down now. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't. I tried to accept and learn everything that I've seen. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, so if Fumi was to make a character, if Fumi was to see someone messing up rice, I think because you're a millennial and because of your cultural connection, not only to your family, but also to like American culture, you'd be like, you fucking up. I'm not gonna say anything, but like Uncle Roger has to have a reaction.
He has to have a reaction.
Like, I can't hold my peace. I'm not gonna do this.
He was put on this earth for this mission. God made him. They sent him here for this job. He is the Messiah of rice. That's what it is. This reminds me of that last week. I was out with my in-laws, and God bless them, they're white, and I sometimes they listen. So hey, shouts, how's it going? And I love you guys, but the other.
I'm sorry about what I said about barley.
We went out fishing. That was awesome. It was a very, God bless the whites for fishing, taking me out fishing in their fancy boat. And then I remember we were gonna get the fish ready. We caught some fish, and we were like, gonna eat the fish. And they're like, I remember them talking back and forth and saying, hey, we're gonna eat this with sticky rice. And I was like, sticky rice? And so for a Vietnamese person and an East Asian person, sticky rice that means something. That means the rice that's inside of a banana leaf that's been like fucking steamed.
Molded.
It takes forever to make. Usually you buy it like at the back of a Chinatown van along with like a bunch of CDs and shit. And like that is sticky rice. And what they actually served was just white rice. That's what they call sticky rice, right? And the whole time I was like, "Where's the sticky rice?"
Yo, but you needed Uncle Roger there with you to be like, "Ay, ay, ay."
Yeah, I couldn't do that because I was like, I'm living off of these white people right now. I'm mooching off them. They could get out me any second here, but so I didn't want to fuck that shit up. I was riding that high, but I was like, this is not sticky rice. It's just regular rice. It wasn't even that sticky. Anyways,
I just imagine Mike's subconscious being like, Yeah, but where's that rice?
I was. If somebody says sticker, I thought there was going to be a Chinese grandmother rolling up with like a wheelbarrow, just like, selling sticker rice to me, So that's what I was like, where is the sticky rice at?
That can happen sometimes in New York for me when a place is like a southern restaurant.
Oh,
and I'm
shit.
Like, well, we'll see. I was like, we'll see. I'm working on new stuff about barbecue, and I always say the best Yelp review for a good barbecue place in Mississippi is just a sticky table. Like if your table, if I go to your barbecue place and your table is clean, I'll like touch it and I'll be like, clean table, 2 stars. What are you doing? Clearly ain't nobody eating here. What's happening?
Oh my God.
I need some dish rag residual water on this table. It's too clean.
Oh, wow. Jay, thank you so much for coming on the show.
You guys are amazing. Thank
you're
you
so
guys
funny.
for
Jesus.
doing this.
I think that's it, right? We're at 1 hour and 5
about
minutes.
an hour. Yes, this is so much fun. I'm so glad we could get you on. We gotta get you back.
We're gonna have you back on.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be
Might
great.
even when we do comedy for real in real life eventually.
Absolutely, man. Jay, where can our fans, aka anals, where can they find you or follow you?
Oh, well, listen. I want to let everyone know, if the anals are a fan of me, I'm a big fan of anal. So the
Goes both ways.
Asian, not Asian listeners,
Yeah.
you can find me on Twitter at Jurden. That's at JAYJURDEN. And on Instagram at the same handle. You guys are in luck. The gym's reopened. I'm taking a lot of thirst traps.
You really
so
are.
I'm out here getting naked for the folks.
We talk
Wow.
about you at I work at Comedy Central now, and you come up like once a week at our meetings. We're just like, did you guys see Jay's thirst trap? It's not even like it's not even a pitch. It's not a comedy pitch. It's just like, did you guys see his abs yesterday or last Thursday?
The meeting
Thanks,
is actually
Fumi.
titled that in
Jay's abs.
in Microsoft Office Outlook. It's like meeting Jay Jurden's thirst trap, location Instagram. Yeah.
I just want to make it to the Google Slides. Be like, as you can see, that's just Jay.
That's just it. Right.
But I always wear my mask now because the gym that I'm going to, it like reopened. And right now everyone's doing like whatever their version of risk mitigation is. Like
Right.
Fumi did a park show. I'm doing park shows. Like people, if people were gonna be like, I can't believe you're doing park shows, I'm be like, okay, they're outside. You wear your mask until you do it, and then you like clean off everything. I'm trying to do my best, but also I'm trying to like live my life as a comedian. If you're
Right.
upset about that, I respect you being upset. So like, even if I take a thirst trap now inside that gym, you never gonna see me without a mask if I'm taking a thirst trap, just because I just don't have the energy to fight with people online, and they will find a way.
Oh,
Yes.
for sure.
Yes.
So anals, if you like Jay but you don't like where he's taking his pictures, don't keep that shit to yourself, okay?
Or you give me some suggestions. I'll take pictures wherever.
they start sending you requests. That's an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
That's a different thing. You got to follow on OnlyFans.
You know
for that.
what? Send me money, and I will send you a picture.
As always, you can find us on social media at AsianNotAsianPod. I am also on there at the Fumiabe, the CHEFUMIABE.
And you can find me on Instagram at Nice Pants Bro.
Please check out our merch at AsianNotAsianPod.com/merch. And we also do a weekly, or right now it's a bi-weekly Zoom comedy show every other Friday. The next one will be September 11th. And then the one after that is 25.
Yup.
And then the one after that is October 9th. So just go to our website, AsianNotAsianPod.com, and then you can get tickets there. It's through Eventbrite. It's a good time. Patreon.
It's a good show.
It's a good. Jay's done it, and hopefully we can do it outside sometimes. Oh, Mike, by the way, I bought that amp, so we could talk about.
Oh
doing
my
something
God!
outside
Finally,
it.
yeah, we gotta figure this out.
I was blasting Reflections on it yesterday, dude. I was just. it was like Asian Radio Raheem, you know.
I'm just imagining,
Fumi.
because I know where you live
Oh
in
my
Bed-Stuy, and people are just like, this neighborhood, man, it's just gone downhill.
Fumi.
What are you doing?
If I ever saw an Asian guy just like blasting Reflections, like, who is that girl I see? Like on the subway, I would be like, man, hats off to you, dog. You know what? I ain't
He's just
even
sitting
mad.
there.
I'm gonna take out my earbuds to listen to what
you know, he's
got.
crying just a little bit. Oh, that's Fumi, baby. That's Fumi. You and I, we're gonna be blasting "Make a Man Out of You" and.
So catch me outside if you're in Brooklyn. I'll be out there blasting Mulan. And Anos, we love you. Jay, thank you so much. Everybody, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.